Hello friends, welcome to the course on Institutional Management and Administration. Friends, today we shall be discussing a very important aspect of institutional management, that is institutional planning. I am sure that after going through this presentation, you will be able to understand the concept of institutional planning, its nature and characteristics, scope of institutional planning, phases of institutional planning, and traits of an institutional manager for framing institutional plan. Let's start with them one by one. Let's first understand the concept of institutional planning. Institutional planning is a program of development and improvement prepared by an educational institution on the basis of its felt needs and resources with a view to improving the institution's programs and activities. It is based on the principle of optimum utilization of resources available in an institution in particular and community in general. Let's understand the objectives of institutional planning. The broad objectives of institutional planning are to provide opportunities for quality education to all the pupils of relevant age group for the socio-economic development of the country in general. Its another important objective is to bring improvement in the structure of the educational institution. It also has some base in terms of proper direction to the functioning of an educational institution. It also helps in developing a comprehensive program of improvement of the educational system in all its processes by optimum utilization of available resources. It also provides an opportunity to all the stakeholders, with staff, students, parents, employers, etc., to work collaboratively for the growth and development of the organization and the country as a whole. It also provides adequate freedom and autonomy to teachers to think of innovative and creative ideas for the improvement of institutional curricular, co-curricular, and other programs and activities. Its focus is to shift the emphasis from expenditure orientation to effort orientation and proper utilization of resources. It gives an overall development plan and improvement plan for the institution. It helps in making education relevant and productive, and also helps in bringing an accord between the development of the institution and the national level educational planning. Let's understand the characteristics and nature of an educational plan. It's very important for the institution that an institutional plan should be need-based as per the requirements of the stakeholders. It should be very specific. It should lead to optimum utilization of resources. It should help in augmentation of human efforts. Definitely, it has to be goal-oriented and help in cooperative working of the institute. And alignment should be there in the long and short-term plans of the institute, and has to be very flexible. After understanding the nature and the characteristics of the institutional planning, the scope of institutional planning is very wide and it broadly covers every process, program and activity and product of an educational institution for its holistic growth and development. The specific objectives are improvement of academic programs and processes like teaching learning, curriculum, evaluation, placement, etc., improvement of the educational infrastructure, improvement of co-curricular and extracurricular activities, and other institution improvement projects. After understanding the importance, scope, and nature of the institutional planning, let's understand benefits of the institutional planning. Institutional planning involves the relevant stakeholder, thereby it helps in making more democratic decisions in the implementation of the institution. Institutional planning adopts the bottom-up approach where first-hand knowledge about its strengths, weaknesses and problems arising in the classroom, processes and situations is available from the teachers. It is more realistic because it is based on the data available from stakeholders, namely students, teachers, parents, employers and community. It is more scientific, rational, effective and efficient in comparison to trial and error or other traditional development approaches. Definitely it is goal directed and thus more efficient. Involvement of teachers in the process of planning motivates them, thereby making its implementation much easier. It also provides ample opportunities for creativity, innovation, initiatives, freedom and experimentation to those who are involved in developing and implementing the plans. Any institutional planning has 5 phases. Let's understand them one by one. Phase 1, analyzing the present status. For implementing or for initiating any institutional plan, first we should know where we are today. That's the reason analysis of the present status of the institution is a must. Based on the analysis, we are able to verify the available resources. We are also able to remove the damaged or obsolete resources, rewrite or revisit the objectives, and identify the previous mistakes and gaps. Based on this objective analysis, we are able to understand what exactly is the present status and where we are to go. The next step in any institutional planning is identifying the future needs. This requires listing the required resources, staffing and developing new personals, repairing the damaged materials, equipment and infrastructure, identifying the latest trends in the field, diagnosing the previous mistakes and gaps, and chalking out the solutions. This completes the second step. Phase 3 comprises of formulation of a strategic plan. For making the strategic plan, we need to conduct the SWOT analysis, means analysis of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats impacting on the system. After the analysis of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats, we are able to identify the thrust areas. Thrust areas are those areas where there is a scope for improvement. These are related to major functional area of the institution. After the identification of thrust area, there is a need for consultation and acceptance of the views of stakeholders. After the consultation with the stakeholders, the formulation of goals and objectives takes place. After the formulation of goals and objectives, listing the alternatives and the identification of the most suitable one for the implementation of the strategic plan is identified. After this, assigning of roles, responsibilities, delegations and time schedule are finalized in the phase 3 of the institutional plan. Phase 4 of the institutional plan covers execution. During the execution, it is a must that whatever has been planned, it is strictly followed, item wise. Opting at the alternatives included in the plan is a must. Neglecting the initial failures and based on the understanding, learnings from the failures, we have to redesign the things and implement it. Supervising the activities and initiatives and giving necessary directions is another part of this execution of the plan, and keeping time schedules is a must. Unless we are able to keep the time schedules, no plan can be implemented in time and results will lead to inaccurate findings. Then finally, the monitoring of the progress of all the activities is a must during the execution of the plan. And finally, after the implementation of the plan, there is a need for evaluation so that we can have corrective actions and identify where we went wrong. Provide chance to stakeholders for their feedback under this head. Be positive towards criticism by stakeholders. Keep psychological approach when indicating mistakes. Appreciate the special achievers. Scientifically diagnose the mistakes and failures and plan corrective actions. And finally, chalk out the solutions by deep study and research. This finishes all the phases of any institutional plan. For the making of an institutional plan, special efforts and special competencies are needed by any manager. Let's understand those type of traits which are needed for the frame of any institutional plan. These traits for an institutional manager are multi-sided foresight, strong determination, creativity, updated knowledge of different aspects of education, adaptable and dynamic mind, knowledge of the latest trends in educational management, and finally, risk-taking attitude. Based on these traits in an individual, he is able to finalize an institutional plan for the growth and development of the institution, which in turn leads to socio-economic development of the country. Friends, this is all I wanted to deal in this presentation. I am sure after going through this presentation, you shall be understanding what exactly is institutional plan. Institutional planning, as I said, is a basic unit of larger educational planning. It is a plan prepared by an educational institution on the basis of its development and improvement. It's a plan which covers both micro and macro level planning. It is a unique for each institution, as each institution has its own character, culture, vision, specific goals and resources. Thank you. Thank you very much, my friends.